Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have a challenger Kha'zix player on Korea versus Viego, obviously very popular champion, and we have here the Sylas and the LeBlanc going at it, placing that ward over there. We have here a leash from the Viego doing the red side quadrant clear. At this particular stage, this is probably the most meta clear we have in terms of, you know, there's a full clear, and then there's the 3-camp red side gank, which gives us a lot of versatility, although it's not always the only way to do things. What we can do here is, as the Viego, because we see only this ward, and we don't know exactly where the Kha'zix started, 99% solid above somewhere. Maybe he did blue side, unlikely, but maybe most likely he does red Crocs Raptor solo. We will at least have the confirmation. If we have that confirmation, then we can decide, hey look, I can, there we go, hello sir. We can crud across, go into here, we can go and gank this and get ahead of the Kha'zix, all the good stuff you want to do when you are not exactly a passive jungler. Let's just put it that way. I mean, both of these junglers, you know, are snowbally, but Viego's definitely a bit more proactive early. Kha'zix is something that typically, while he can go ahead, you know, and look to do these kinds of 3-camp ganking routes and things like that, we've had that historically, definitely a bit more passive early. Here we go, the Viego's going to use his E, go to the bottom lane, hit that W onto the Rel, the Nautilus is going to hit the Ezreal who's chugging his potions, chugging his potions, chugging his potions, and then he yells Asterix as the potion doesn't kill him. How fantastic is that? And the Viego in the meantime, just so you can see here, before he goes to the bottom lane, actually goes ahead and says, look, I'm ahead of the Kha'zix, I know he's coming down here, maybe I could invade him, and you know, in another world we could, but they have prior, so we should use our time leverage for a gank here. The Kha'zix is thinking, red side quadrant clear is meta. Yes, Viego could bottom side, which he is. Yes, he also could go mid lane afterwards, so he's placing this ward in anticipation of the change, of the route that the Viego's going to do after this gank, right? Kills or not. And the Kha'zix does kind of hedge a little bit, I think, at this particular stage. Once this goes in, you're like, nothing I can do here. Next wave arrives. They're super duper low. Nothing I can do. So he wastes a bit of time giving protection and then going to the blue and the Grump. This is huge because I talk a lot about this, leaving one camp or just slowing down your full clear by 10-15 seconds just to get vision and knowledge and the ability to outpass someone, or avoid someone, or invade someone. And we do that here because we want to see where the Viego is going next. Rel obviously is also thinking about this. He's going to go from the E to the mid lane here, tries something, sees nothing, cuts between the wave and says bye-bye, because Sylas is farming his waves up. The Kha'zix again hedges a little bit. I think I like the movement, right? I like the idea, and it shows the importance of actually rotating, as we have another gank at the top side, the importance of actually rotating to things, but sometimes you really have to assess in your brain, like, okay, I need to do my camp here, there's nothing to be gained, I'm not going to get there on time, can we even win? And, you know, typically, you want to try and make the best decision possible, but here he's really thinking he can get involved. Now, the Viego does what you expect. Red side quadrant, bottom lane gank, drives through mid lane, Scuttle isn't up, so goes top side. Will now obviously take that Scuttle Crab on his way to doing the top lane gank. Renekton doesn't see it because top laners are lovely people. And the Kha'zix now goes back to the Grump here, sees the fact that the Viego is on the top side, has taken that Scuttle Crab, because we'll track the CS 16, goes to the mid lane here and says, hello, Sylas. So we've seen that the Viego has taken Scuttle, gank top lane, and now moving down to his blue. Like, we see that. This means that that crab, obviously, is gone, but that the Viego is going to his blue buff. So Sylas, while he flashes into the fog of war into the bush here, typically, if you know that the jungler is on the crab, like it's 3:30, you know he's on the crab, now you have to assess, can we 2v2? Can the enemy jungler turn this around? When you look at the Sylas' HP, you're pretty confident, so you can just keep going for it. But the Sylas, I think, kind of wants to get the Viego's help, but Viego's like, yeah, no. So he dies. So this is nice from the Kha'zix. And when we talk about this kind of stuff right here, see this? This is what I'm talking about on the coaching channel. Just push it out. In the membership Discord where I post a freely included video every week. I call it Jungle Detail, like ESPN Detail, but it's just like I break down certain micro strategies and things that are not really, you know, put into main channel videos or anything like that. And a lot of it last night was just about this minion wave here. They just kind of, in the coaching channel, were leaving this wave alone and, you know, just push it, force a TP if it exists, allow your laner to go back to base as quickly as possible, buy, and then you can repeat gank. Now, we do see here the Viego on the bottom side doing the Raptors, and we'll go into the Krugs most likely. We are not doing the Krugs. We can look here, seeing the K'Sante, 517, 518, 519 means we're looking at about, you know, halfway to level 6 here. Level 6 should be coming soon. The nature of lanes does change. The lower down you go, that timer ceases to be like the 530 wave. It ends up being like 630 wave sometimes. But we go ahead and have a look. Why is it so important that we mention this? Because we want to repeat gank the mid lane, obviously. We know the Viego should be on the bottom side. We see our support rotating and roaming as well, so we can basically shadow her also. But most importantly, because we did red, Krugs, Raptors as Kha'Zix, shadowed the Viego, did a delayed blue, did a delayed Grump because we did the Scuttle first, the regular timers for our full sequence respawn are just significantly delayed. Look at the Viego going down here. So what we know is as Kha'Zix, as we're spotted here, we know we're seen now. We know that this is only going to spawn. Look at this. You know, when you take it, you just add 215. You know it's going to spawn. Here we go. Right, 614, which is, you're looking at like at least a 30 second delay on that spawn. So it gives you a lot of time to look at this lane while Viego's down on the other side. We see the Viego trying to cheese away a dragon. We see this. We should just go dive this. We're not going to be able to rotate to it. So you're noticing, even if your first sequence is compromised in any sort of capacity, as we do get the dragon for the blue team, you're still able to adjust yourself nicely. Because the second quadrant, the blue side in this particular case, was taken super, that was so easy, super delayed, right? You know you have time to go do stuff. Don't do Krugs, Raptors, do Wolves, and wander around in circles and think, oh, my sequences are ruined. No, say basically, look, I can do Krugs, the Raptors are going to be there. No one's counter jungling Wolves at this particular stage. I saw Viego down the bottom side. I have time to go do some shit, right? And then I can fall back to a laner, which is what the Kha'Zix is doing. Good use of the outside and rule. Flash is burned by the Renekton. Flash is burned by the Nautilus, who says, I have myself a kill. Well, he walked through here, and can we kill him? Kha'Zix is assessing these things right now and then says, that hitbox is too big for me. And he decides to leave. The Viego, on the other hand, now is obviously back into his jungle after investing a lot of time on a dragon. But, you know, he's got 1 assist. Good for him. Happy days. Kha'Zix goes back to his red. We'll get 6 after this. We are watching the Renekton at this stage. Very important that we watch the Renekton, because we can also do this. Get our Vol, get the Krug, sync up with him, and maybe go do something to K'Sante. We also have the Viego most likely doing his blue buff. We have this ward hit here. Track your mid laner movement, right? Mid laner movement. Mid laner shows up with the control ward, and still has his warding totem, but the control ward's the most important thing. You press tab, you see him. Control ward. Disappears up, hits a plant, goes down. Probably control warded my jungle. So, you know, if you want to go somewhere hidden, don't go through that bush. If you want to clear it, do so. We'll get our Claw Evolves. Here we go. Silas is fisting in the mid lane. Rel is going to show up. And here the Kha'Zix has control. Thank you to that. And now we're going to sneak over, ward, and do this Herald. I don't know if that ward was entirely necessary. I think he probably... yeah, we didn't need that ward. we just didn't need it. Kind of pointless. With the Viego, after showing mid and going bot after only doing Raptors and doing the Dragon +4, going to Actors, Red and Krugs, 99%. Obviously, that Grump is also snacked away. We'll just take the objective. No stress. Objective for objective. That's cool. Watching these two go at it. Viego again hovering bot side. Vision control so important. And this is really huge from the Kha'Zix's perspective. Watching both things here. Okay. We're looking at this now. We're thinking, hey, do we want to invest the gold to this turret just yet? Do we want to dive this again? Do we want to do something again? Or do I want to go and finish my Mythic? We talked about this as well in the private Discord. This decision of, should I stay in Herald and punch it, or should I just reset and defend myself against potential invades right here, you know? And there's not always a clear-cut answer, I'll be honest with you. You kind of have to decide at what point you want to elevate the game state, how afraid are you to rotate and deal with bottom lane. Do you have a bottom lane that you feel is, oh, here we go, hits the plant, leap in, we'll get that Q, we'll get the passive auto attack, which is nice, we'll get the nice and beautiful, let's watch that in slow motion. Okay, here we go. So this is excellent. Look on the bottom left, you have the abilities. We're going to hit this, and as soon as we see these out of position, we know isolation damage plus mythic completion, we can do this. So we hit the W and the E at the same time into obviously our Q smite. We auto attack with the passive unseen threat. Then we're going to flash, get another unseen passive threat in Q, and the red buff tick will kill him. So it's just a really, really good mechanical play, knowing exactly his damage output at the stage of the game. Something that, again, on the coaching channel, we covered in the Silver video this week. just the mechanics. Sometimes there's great plays, great decisions being made, but you just miss skill shots, don't know your combos, and it costs you so much. This is a little bit silly because as soon as we kill him or see him, we know that the red buff is taken. So, a little bit of a sleepy. Varus is going to chuck out a Q. It's going to hit nothing. Now we're going to cut this wave here. Viego 99% is going to go to the top side now. We have the TP committed by the side to try and defend off on this. The LeBlanc doesn't have TP, so Rell's going to go back in here and sacrifice herself. Viego could cut to the bottom side here if he wanted to impact this fight as well. He probably wouldn't have known or seen this at base, but I mean, I guess you could make a point for it. Don't know if I would go here necessarily. Yeah. I mean, if your team comes out ahead here, they come out ahead here, but like, it's nice you... I fell for it too. I was just not even paying attention. I was thinking about the Viego's path. I think I'm gonna leave that in. That's just funny. I don't know why it even happens in a replay. Like, from his perspective, right? He's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. Okay, they're being dove. You see Silas shove up here, TP committed. I understand the need to rotate here because of the nature of the server and the fights and the fisting, but I basically assume here, okay, we have this under control. I see the LeBlanc's rotating for sure. I definitely want to get involved in this. But at the same time, you know what I mean? At the same time, it's just... We've got 3 camps on the top side. We could go counter jungling. Can we do something to the Renekton here, equal and opposite? They took care of everything else without me. Yeah, there's a Grump up and the Wolves are up, but you follow what I'm saying here? It just seems like a bit of a goose chase. Now, I know a lot of junglers will say, look, you know, in that case, you should rotate, cut off the dive, help. And other junglers will say, look, I'm this carry jungler, there's 3 camps up here, counter jungling I can do, could go and kill the Renekton. You know, we don't have the Herald play, so we might as well try to get some plates before that gets activated. Kha'Zix can equally go top side and bottom side after his respawn here. So why don't we try and force a little bit of pressure somewhere else? That's probably where I would have gone, just as I respawned out of base looking at it. But if you're a Kayn or something, or a Nunu, or a Rammus, or even a Rengar, something that can really ult and movement speed yourself quickly here, then that changes the equation a little bit. It's more so that we have Krugs and, you know, not much else to do. Like, you see this? The aftermath is always the big question. What do I do after I've rotated, and what if I get nothing? Is there an 80% chance I get something? In Scenarius, the Master Yi, best play Master Yi in the world, the rank 1 EU West with it, basically always said, you know, 80%. I look at it, and if I don't think there's that probability I get kills and gold from it, I just don't make the play. And that assessment, you will get better at over time. Like, let's be honest, it's a difficult thing to always talk about this thing, and I do mention it a lot. But as a snowballing assassin, you've got to try and optimize for gold, right? Experience is great, but gold as well. He's basically hung around, and he's just going to look through a dragon. We're activating the Herald here. Rel's going over the wall. We're going to go straight all in on this guy. Silas gets rinsed and killed. Nautilus is moving with the Viego. This guy's going to get 5 plates here as well. We're basically rushing the first turret game at this particular stage. He should be able to get that, which he will. Kha'Zix says, you know, that's okay. I'll let him have it. Who cares? I got to plate gold. Now some jungle denial. Viego's going to have to hold this, right? So I'm going to go take his blue. Then I'll quickly take his Gromp. Then I'm going to look at Cassandra and go, hoo. Let's have a look and see if we can do this before Viego shows up. Because we know Viego, when he shows up at the bottom lane there, very easy sometimes, isn't it? When Viego shows up on the bottom side there again for rotation after you killed him, you know Willow's blue side is up. And now either Kha'Zix is like, all right, let's leave. Oh, wait a second. Let's take some plates. Yeah, bro, let's do that. Because we have to give up the dragon for this. So we might as well get some gold back. Again, optimizing for gold. What are we at? 6.1. 6.2. And how much is Viego? 4.1. He has not optimized his pathing well. I feel like he's compromised himself a little too much for the rotations. Definitely more of a low econ player. And fortunately, we are going to Trinity Force and not Divine Sunderer. Hooray! Good job, Korean server. Everyone's learning. They love that item way too much. It's why the Hecarim win rate is so bad on that server. I almost said Rohirrim for some reason. It's time to watch the extended editions again, I think. You know, when you start thinking about Rohirrim, it is time. Now, this is held. Varus gets the bottom side here. We're going to take this red buff again. And now, of course, with 2,000 in pocket, we go back to base. Nice snowballing on the top side for ourselves, not for the Renekton. I mean, 0-1-2. And it is a Cassandra input Showmaker meme here again. Bottom side now, we've got all our camps available. Gromp, Wolves, and Blue. I do feel like we should have just gone Wolves, Gromp, Blue, so that would have finished the sequence. Hit this, hit this, hit this. Now we can move and shadow this, rather than going Gromp, Blue, Wolves, which removes sequencing potential. We could hold this wave as well. There is a second Herald spawning though. We kind of want to do that. And because we are the Fed members, here we go. See, we're doing it anyway. Might as well have just gone, been in a better position. We see everybody here. 3 people topside. All right, I'm comfortable walking into the jungle now. Is this red buff available? Yes. Excuse me. In the meantime, while I was having a little chat about Lord of the Rings and Kha'Zix's sequencing, the Viego went ahead and died. So you would have seen that on the minimap, which means this play makes even more sense if you just do it properly. Look, nothing up really on the whole quadrant on the top side. So go Wolves, Grump, good sequencing, thumbs up. Virkayu's happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. Take this blue buff. Know that guy is dead, down for 18 seconds. His red buff respawned on the map. He didn't have it when I saw him die. Everyone's been collapsed upon here. I don't want to rotate to this one. You see the difference? Like the Viego probably would have thought about rotating to this, whereas the Kha'Zix kind of with this 50-50 approach, like, I can rotate, I can not. Like, he doesn't really fully commit unless it's truly something to commit to, which is good. And then he's just going to go ahead and steal this. Now, most likely, the Viego will want to defend his red side quadrant, but I could very much see a case where he's rotating straight to the Herald based upon his tendencies here, but it would be a little odd, right? Or would it? Oh, it wouldn't. You see? Hugely. In the courses, I talk about this with every single MMR. Every MMR has a tendency. Even Hyela have tendencies. But it's less about the overall tendency in the rank. It's the surface tendency, but also the player against. And the ability to be a top shelf jungler in-game is to be able to recognize these tendencies. Now again, I don't watch these at all. I like raw approaches and to cover what seems most interesting. I mean, if we were to cover everything that happened in every game, we could be here for hours, right? So we always pick the things that seemingly pop out as the colorful note for the video. But here I'm thinking about this right here. Okay, we're doing a red side. In theory, he could just come here and maybe float something here, but there's an objective. And even though he doesn't have many camps up there, if we see that the Kha'Zix is taking my stuff, I'm just going to go straight for the Herald. I mean, it does make sense to go for this play. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but again, there is this school of thought which has, don't compromise too much your golden experience for objectives that can be taken a little bit later, right? And now the Kha'Zix just goes around the backside, just swipes? What's a swipe? Swipes himself in there, kills the Varus. They should be able to kill the Viego as well. They're going to kill the Nautilus. We're going to chase this guy down a little bit. He does have E up. Let's see how far away he gets. Should be fine. Should be fine to escape unless he does something a little dumb. Let's have a look. Oh. Well, he did the dumbest thing, which is the most obvious. Just walk into the bush we expect people to walk into and die. Oh well. Anyway, so he dies trying to go for this, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, where's Kha'Zix deep in my jungle? He has pressure. They're having a bit of a swing of momentum. Should we just coin from a fight over the Herald? No. You know, and that's more the point. Not that it's necessarily wrong. It's just that given the current game state and what's going on, is it the best thing in the world to coin flip a potential fight over this Herald? No, it's going to be there for 5 more minutes. We have time to take it. Maybe we can do a collapse here. Like, maybe we could just close the piano accordion and just take care of this business and then go for the Herald. You know, push waves out and things like that. But no, as tendency shows, he will sacrifice himself a little bit. His CS is fine. His CS is fine, obviously. He has caught up a little bit. He's been in lanes. He's got some objectives. The Kha'Zix doesn't really care at all. Got the Herald, the most important one. Again, see, now we go down to the bottom side here. We see the Cassante. We're like, okay, Renekton, let's go, baby. Okay, goodbye. Ola, see you later. He will take him over the wall now, so you do have to be careful of that. Also, he has flash. Kha'Zix does the flash, decides not to fully commit it. Yeah, Viego's gone back to base, so we don't have a Herald activation. So, you know, now we don't need to do this because it's not only the kills, it's also the advantage of HP, TPs, map scaling, counter jungling. Like, we can go look for the kill. Here we go. Get the smite, unstoppable. We'll take the aggro, let the Renekton do a little bit of his stuff, hit that W as well. So, well done by the Cassante using that W. We have here the Herald activation midline, so we know Viego is there. But the Kha'Zix is just controlling this. And the Viego is using this equal and opposite, like, oh, Kha'Zix is here, let me go do this other thing. But it's not netting him gold. There we go. We got that. Oh, nicely done. We got that one. They're shoving Herald mid lane, which is what they should be doing at this particular stage, knowing that there's 2 bot. Obviously, the got the kill. Herald activation. Kha'Zix can now flank. I love this. I love this. This is so good. We don't see enough of this anymore. There's always this macro idea of, hey, we have to go back to base. No. If we have HP advantage and we're super duper fed, we can look to collapse, you know, watch him die, but I don't, you know, obviously that's the thing you have to focus on. Boom! Duskblade. Boom! Duskblade and R. Then isolation damage and Q and evolve Q and See, I like this stuff. I like that angle. I like that confidence, knowing that I am so far ahead, with basically the half an atom away from full build to end, that I can make the right play here. I've got flash. I've got the ability to auto and Q and use all my abilities. I don't know where I was going with that. You have the ability to use your abilities to kill people. Yes, you know what I mean. Like, we're strong, right? We can flash, EQ, get the guy down. We've got the W as well. We've got the passive. We've got the Dust Blade. We've got the R Vault. Not yet. At the end. Although one could say at this particular stage, E-Evolve is probably better. Now, we do have a lot of different Kha'Zix point of views. And we do have Grandmaster Kha'Zix Enjoyer in the Discord. And he goes against most conventional thought processes when it comes to Kha'Zix. He's always gone pure squishy, E-Evolve, like level 11 E-Evolve, that's just what he does. He loves to play super high-risk Kha'Zix. And it works for him, he just pulls it up. He sees the angles that others don't see, and he's able to get in and out. There is an NA Challenger Kha'Zix who likes to do that as well, historically also, that we've included on the channel before. Split fights here, we see this, we look at it, we know that they can handle it. Well, we hope that they can handle it 3v2. We're going to go looking for the Kha'Zix, the Viego, Kha'Zix vs. Viego, see if we can get that kill as well. A little bit of chasing around. You see. I was going to say, well, I went to the obvious bush the first time. He won't think I'll be stupid enough to do it again. Then he died to the LeBlanc, who wasn't there the first time. So next time he should sit in the bush, and both Kha'Zix and LeBlanc will think he won't do it a third time. Third into the Baron, I like it. Very much what we talked about when it comes to, we have the TP commit here from the Cassante. I don't know why you would TP into a ward next to a Baron when your whole team is not in position and they're all dead. We can call that the unfortunate play. Not so good. That will be the end of their lives. Yeah, it's really interesting. The Viego's not that far away CS-wise. Because he's just cleaned a few things up here and there, but there's been no real flow to it, right? It's been kind of disjointed, I feel. It's been quite disjointed in terms of the effect that he's had on this game. And Kha'Zix has definitely had a bit of flow to it. And when Kha'Zix saw these things, he doesn't worry about them losing a dragon, right? He doesn't worry about them losing blah, 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 blah. He just takes more shit than it's worth. And then uses that to get the shit that actually matters, like a good Herald for plates, a Baron. Who cares about the dragon? And I talked about this in the coaching channel video tonight, Gold one, where the jungler just took 4 dragons, got soul early, and the game ended up being quite equal. I said, now you've just given the enemy team who are winning team fights an Elder shot. And you're just going to straight up lose from that. So I like trading a 3rd dragon for a Baron, just to kind of delay that invariable Elder, and allows me to use the Baron to keep my lead. We take it, and we look to flank it, and Rel is just dead it. We have here the LeBlanc shoving this. So this is top side. See, this is what Assassin should do. Look for the angles. It's all about the angles and patience. Okay? We have Gus Walker Hatchling using that. There we go. Hello, Viego. I've seen you. That nerf of movement speed doesn't seemingly have done much. Doesn't seem to have done much, rather. Yeah, that 90% was kind of nutty. When they first buffed him a couple months ago, they had to reduce it. But still strong. Still good. Don't hit it there. Cassante getting his Q3 primed. Gonna go in. Get nothing because we have Edge of Night. We do have Serilda's Grudge at this stage, so we've got the slow. So we should be able to hit multiple unseen passive threat auto attacks to get some slow juice as well. Viego's rotating here. That's fine. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. We are waiting for Rel. Their whole team is flanking us. We've seen it on the map. We're looking always down. We decide, instead of being caught, to turn and go back in. Immediately straight up kill the Viego. W decides to push him out of the fight. Cassandra's now going to try and probably do something to us, so we just reposition using our R. Kill the Nautilus with a Q, chuck our W to slow them from escape as much as possible, but not isolated, but it doesn't really matter at this stage, does it? Kill, 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 chain them down. Beautiful use of positioning this whole game. Can we agree on that? Really nice positioning this whole game. Shows you the power of this build. And this evolved path, and just playing methodically, right? If you looked at the timeline, and again, all the match histories are linked below, you just see farming, kill, farming, kill, farming, kill, farming, kill. It's like it's methodical gain of kills as you go through the game. It's reliable, it's replicable, it's got a method. He's adapting well, he's looking up, he's having great risk assessment, and then you just pile it on with a couple clutch kills here and there, and then the back end of your timeline just stacks up the kills nice and quick because you've been safe and methodical in that early phase to get yourself reliably fed every game. Assassin gameplay is a special one. It's not always easy, but when you get it right, it is rewarding. So hope to see a lot of you in the bootcamp or the rest of you in the memberships on Virkayu.gg. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.